all the best. And you know it's me, Shangela. If I could, I would be there to jump out of a box, I would cake at the reception, honey, do a 1-2 step, and say hallelujah to you for your special day. But just know that I'm all the way across the pond with you.
Fungus. It's gonna be very, very hard to send me home, dog.
I'm the Susan Lucci because I get this close.
You're only as good as your last performance. They're so good. It's the world from this group.
Real essence of the kookiness. Yeah, I'm Tammy Brown and I'm spinning your hair.
I'm glad somebody cracked that damn joke because I do feel like this damn season just will not end. And we're going to get into that in a second when we talk about season 14. But yes, welcome back to Drinks and Drag. We have a little technical issue, so we did get cut off. But we are back. Back again. We're going to sound on the next 30 minutes with, Drag Race stuff because we were at the 1 hour mark where we last left off. So, without further ado, let's bring in our panel. Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. Welcome to the internet world. I tell you, yo, girl. Wait, where's everybody? Yeah. Okay, so let's get right into some things. Let's talk about UK versus the world because it's over, and Blue Hydrangea is the winter, which you should have known that was coming. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Half clap, because I don't know. But the way the politics play with the season, it makes sense. I asked one. But anyway, so y'all know every season without fail, queens from RuPaul's Drag Race get sent hateful comments, which is one of the main reasons why they self-produce on these shows now instead of being their authentic selves, unless your name is Diabetica. But that's a whole other conversation. Now, it's a bleak consistent at this point that the queens themselves are braced, or even when they shouldn't have to be. Countless cast members from across the global franchise have said that they've had messages directly sending hate to them, some even going as far as to wish death on the queens and tell them to kill themselves. It's a bleak, vicious cycle and one that seemingly has had to change to it had no change to a year after year franchise after franchise. Now, RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World has been arguably one of the most controversial and unpredictable seasons of all time. The queens are eliminating each other fast and loose, which is basically the same concept they do on All Stars, with fan favorites dropping like flies. This has resulted in anger from the fandom, with queens like Pangina Heels and Blue Hydrangea receiving particular abuse from a dark corner of the fandom for their lipstick choices. Now, there was an interview done with Blue Hydrangea and Mo Hart about the situation, the toxicity and things. And they said, I think it's because people are just obsessed with the show. It's like football, where people get so involved, but for gay people, you really get attached to these characters because the producers are selling you a story. And if you relate to them, then it feels like part of you is getting represented on the screen. Now, do y'all agree with? Oh wait, so let me finish before I even ask y'all the question. Now, when it comes to the toxic fans, I think they're maybe just young and they don't realize that you are going to read it. In reality, you see your DMs. Even if you go into your requests, you definitely do see them. I actually think I didn't get it that bad. Pangina got it worse, of course, because she's not white, and that shows even more toxicity because it's a race problem. They're attacking Pangina for her race and for eliminating someone who's white. I got hate because I sent Pangina home, but there's been queens on Drag Race way before me that are queens of color who just get hate for simply being there. Well, I'm glad, she addressed the elephant in the room. which a lot of these fans refuse to do, or people on the show refuse to do. But what do y'all have to say on this? Because I've already said it from the beginning. Pangina was getting it because she eliminated a white girl, and we know how these fans apparently think RuPaul's Drag Race is tailor made for white people. So, what do you have to say about this overall season of UK versus the world? And if you agree with what Blue, the winter, had to say about the overall toxic fandom?
I'm gonna be like Garcelle when they did the reunion. She's like, Denise, you want to go first? Do you want to go first? You want to go first, Remy?
I don't. I could see why. I guess I'm not looking at that side of the glass. Like I'm looking at the glass half empty. But I'm not seeing that Pangina get the hate for sending Jimbo because she was a white queen. I think she did what she did because Jimbo was competition. That
Exactly.
was she was doing exceptionally well. And she received hate from the people who were Jimbo fans, the same way that Blue received hate from the Pangina fans. Blue eliminated somebody who was a top contender, the same thing that Pangina did. And the fans aren't happy because the person that they wanted to win, who they thought was doing the best, no longer does so because of a shady move or a tactical move or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a game with no rules. You can choose to play the game however it is that you want to choose to play the game. If you want to eliminate the strongest competition, feel free to do that. If you want to get to the end with everybody who's been doing the best, feel free to do that. But I don't think that, again, like we said in previous episodes, the hate that people receive online, these contestants from people who are mad that their fave or whoever they're standing isn't going to win is unwarranted and needs to stop. But at the same time, it probably never will because you get new people who watch the show, the cycle continues. Like they said, it's a cycle. It'll continue, and no matter how much people say, oh, don't attack this person because at the end of the day we're still sisters, it's just a show, it's just a game, no amount of that is going to change the fact that these messages are still going to come
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
from people who are unhappy with the outcome of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, we could talk to her blue in the face, like RuPaul say something, and this one say something, that say something, Michelle say something, and it's like, regardless, I do agree, there will be that small swill of fandom that will come out and just be like, they'll still troll and they'll still say things and they'll still come for people. But I do think that, yeah, whenever it comes to queens of color and they're doing exceptionally well and they want to play a game, um, a lot of people do make it personal about your race or want to take it there. But like
Mhm.
like I've said a million times, the shit you say on social media is not, you will not have the balls to say that to these people's faces if you met them at DragCon, if you met them at a drag show, and you met them anywhere
Yeah.
where there's a meet and greet. So,
Yeah.
Lindsay, what do you have to say about this topic?
It's. I mean, we've said it so many times. It's like, like I get it. It's like, like as much we want Rue or producer of the show or the company behind the shows to be like, yo, relax, take it easy. I'm gonna say something though, in a sense that I don't personally feel that it's just a race thing or someone of color. It's who's talking about it you know that's making it the hot topic. At the end of the day, whether it's a straight show, a gay show, or any other type of show, when you really hate someone or when you're dissing somebody, you go to the route where you cross the line. For example, if someone was to see our show and like, oh, I can't stand Lindsay, that fat bitch, I don't think they're fat. I mean, it's a fat shame, yes, but they don't have anything against someone who's fat. I think they're just
So
trying to
that
hurt my.
fat.
You know what I mean? They're just trying to hurt
Yeah.
my feelings. State the obvious. You know what I mean? I
But
don't
it makes it
necessarily.
different if you're
We have to.
using racial epithets and you're putting that in messages
Yeah,
that you're
but
sending people in their
yeah,
DMs.
but what I'm trying to say is don't forget because we're hearing it be vagina or anybody else. What I'm trying to say is, if someone like the Bianca, well, not Bianca, she's a bad person to
A bad example.
a bad example because she gets it all the time. But she also considers herself someone of color. But what I'm saying is, I feel any drag queen who does anything shade, like right now, Daya right now,
Mhm.
she's literally the villain. Like she's really
Mhm.
hated on, and I know for a fact if she was to expose, you know. Her comments, she's going to get. I can just imagine now. The fact that she has a shaved head, they're gonna, consider her the type of people that we must be careful in the South. You know what I mean? And call her vile and disgusting and all this and all that. And my thing is, yeah, race can play a certain part, I'm sure, but this happens to every queen. This happens to every queen who is either shady or plays, like as Remy was saying, like, you're playing the game correctly, you're going to get hated on, you're going to get dismissed. So I just think, again, we just have to be careful when we want to say, oh, it's a race thing or it's a this thing. We have to be very cautious when we're going to use it, because at this point, if Pangina didn't do it and someone else did it, they would have been receiving death threats too, because someone who the public like was sent home, and that's happened in regular drag race as well.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
also,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say also like the actions that the queens made on the show, there were no racial biases or anything like that, making them choose their decision, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
So that being said, I think that the people who watch the show should leave that out. Leave out any of
exactly.
these racist comments that you aim towards these
Yeah.
people, because these decisions weren't made with the same intent that you are sitting here DMing somebody wishing death upon them. It's not
Yeah.
that deep. It's a TV show.
Exactly. They're the
Hmm.
ones who are out here making it personal and putting their own feelings, how they feel about people of color, into the
Hmm.
bringing it into the argument. Because, like you were saying, like if, I mean, even though Miss Thing from Canada seemed like she was way more salty than she needed to be. Like, girl, it was a game. You was not winning. To be quiet as it's kept, you was not winning the show. I mean, to me, I always felt like this show was pretty much cooked up for a girl from the UK to win anyway. Look where it was located. Look at the prize. Like, what if Juju B or Mo would have won? What were they going to win? A trip back home?
Yeah.
Mo would have won a
And
trip down
doing
the block.
exactly, because she lives in LA. Well, they both live in LA. But and then recording a song that came out during season 4, like, ma'am. And first of all, that remix is horrible. So I'm like, did Blue really win something? Because
Right.
the prize at the end of the day, like, you should be glad that the other girls got sent home. Because if you look at the prize, it ain't worth shit.
Hmm.
Because
Bear
that's
in
why
mind, we also live in an age where losing isn't the worst thing to happen to you on these competition
exactly.
shows, because you still become successful after the fact.
Hmm.
Exactly. Look at um we got a few examples. Shangela, Eureka, like they're all working. Look at Ginger Min. She about to be in Hocus Pocus 2, playing a drag version of Bette Midler's character. Like there's so many of the girls are doing things outside of the show that the show is giving them the opportunity to do other things. So you don't necessarily have to win the crown and the $100,000 and all other stuff to become successful. As long as you use the platform to push your career
Hmm.
where it needs to go. That's the goal of the show. So I do think that these fans, y'all need to relax. Like you
Hmm.
were saying, it's a TV show, and I
Hmm.
don't tweet all that crazy shit. Like I'll tweet like I'm mad about something, but I don't make it personal because I'm like, at the end of the day, I know we all know how TV works. I don't feel like I need to be nasty to these people because at the end of the day, like they said, they're human beings, and y'all can suck 1,000 dicks for y'all making them racist comments.
Let's
Those are
also bear
crazy.
in
I would
mind
suck
that the
that.
prize was $0, $0 and 0 cents,
Exactly.
and you're telling somebody to go jump off
Right.
of a bridge for $0 and 0 cents.
Okay.
It's not that deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
She
And shout
won.
out to Juju B for not bringing her best drag until the last episode.
It's funny because I was saying that on a side note to like Remy a few weeks ago. I was like, I really think Juju was like, listen, y'all could judge me on how tacky it is, but I'm not getting that $1. I'm not going to spend $1. I'm just going to literally find anything I've already used, stitch something
Exactly.
together, and call this a
I'm not
runway.
gonna be $25,000 in debt for
Yes.
spending money and on stuff that I may not make it to the end. And even if I do, like y'all like I'm not, I'm spending more money coming out of my pocket than it is
Hmm.
the show. So
Hmm.
she was smart. But anyway, oh, and Jake says Lemon was wrong. Yeah, because she was the first one to
I
come.
agree with you, Jake. I agree with you, Jake.
Now, speaking of robbed, I feel like our asses is getting robbed because when is this damn season of Drag
Oh
Race
my
going to
goodness.
end? I feel like we were watching this shit forever. And
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind. Number one, if the show was good. Um,
Fungus. It's gonna be very, very hard to send me home, dog. I'm the Susan Lucci because I get this close.
You're only as good as your last performance. They're so close. The world from this group.
Real essence of the kookiness. Yeah, I'm Tammy Brown and I'm spinning your hair.
I was like, yeah, child. Like, I wouldn't mind this season being long if we weren't so oversaturated with other Drag Race seasons. Because Spain's about to come. I mean, Spain about to come up soon. Um, And then, the UK versus world just ended. And so I wouldn't mind if we didn't have so many drag race shows on already, but yeah, y'all gotta hurry up in this.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know. For those of y'all who watched last week's episode of Drag Race, realized that things weren't going so well. Which, that Snatch Game was the worst Snatch Game in the history of Snatch Game. I mean, unless y'all could point out there was a season that was just. I mean, there was a season that was just that, but this one was the worst. It goes at the top. And we did all agree before we started the show that Michelle's investigation. 7-part investigation, not 8-part, because Miss excuse me. Oh my god, what the hell is her name?
Water.
Deja Sky. Yeah, I'm about to. Miss Deja Sky was the only one, and by a hair, did really well in regards of her little John. But everybody else, I was not feeling at all. Y'all took Snatch Game a little too seriously, and Michelle's 7-part investigation was way more entertaining than these broads over here trying to be fun. So, really quickly, because we don't even need to break this down, because that's how bad it was. What did y'all think of this episode? And and y'all excited about this 7-way lip sync for your life? That last time they did something like that was when they sent my girl Honey home.
Yeah, but listen, episode 22, top 8, was terrible. This was a terrible, terrible. Everyone looks forward to Snatch Game. Let's not talk about them. Let's just talk about what the show entitles and what we expect. We expect for when they read each other when the library is open. We expect
It's
for
the Oscars of drag.
Right. We expect the Snatch Game.
Crazy.
We expect the makeover challenge, and then we expect the finale. Those are the highlights of RuPaul's Drag Race. And my thing is, you robbed us.
And the ball.
And the ball. Yeah, isn't that considered like the makeover? That's when they have like the 3.
No. The ball usually happens in the beginning now when they have like 36 looks down the runway.
Oh yeah. We live for that, and it's just like you stole it. You stole it for us. 22 episodes in, top 8 girls, and this is the piece of shit you gave us. But not only that, what made it even far more worse to me, in my opinion, was the fashions that all of them gave for the runway look. I was just like, what?
Oh yeah, it was bad.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What is that? What is that? Why are you here? I thought they sent you home 4 episodes ago. Like, I was just so like, I was just like, what is this? What is going on? What are you giving me? And Jasmine's working my nerves. Jasmine Kennedy is working my last nerve. I thought I was long-winded. No, she takes the long wind of the long-windedness. It's just too much for me. Just too much. What is that? What was that? That was cute.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't
Remy,
like it.
I was like, I thought you were done. Sorry. Remy, what are your thoughts?
I do agree Snatch Game was horrible. I do think that the runway was all over the place because I don't know if the prompt wasn't exact or if they gave everybody different itineraries into what to bring. I didn't think they were all horrible. There were some that were good. There were some that I felt like didn't necessarily fit the category, but was just like, okay, cute. Definitely a lot of creativity when it comes to the runway because someone worshipped shrooms. The next person was like, oh, I worship weed. This next person was like, I worship bad bitches. And it's just like, I worship the Spice Girls. Like, this is a broad spectrum.
Okay.
I need to be a little bit more refined and more cohesive.
Yes.
I am a little annoyed with the fact that, like, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy the show overall. Like, for any season, any franchise, I do watch it. That being said, it has been a month and no one has gone home. I went to 3 different states in 3 weeks. A bitch needs to go home in the course of a month.
That's why I was like, well, damn, we could take a break and nobody would have known.
Right.
Because it's like
the fantasy league is shook. It's shook. There's dust bowls going on in the fantasy league because no moves have been made. I am excited for next week's episode.
The last time we saw the show was Maddie Morphosis was eliminated. That was the last.
Yes.
And that was 100 weeks ago. But anyway, you were saying? I'm sorry.
No, I am excited to see in where the episode Friday is going to go tomorrow, because I don't think that it's going to be like a 7-way like that Honey Davenport Plastique Tiara lip sync. I don't know if it's
They'll
going to be
be
two versus
against two and then against three.
maybe that. Maybe I don't know how they're going to figure it out. I think it's going to be hyped up to the level of when Silky was doing the Lollapalooza, and like I think it's gonna have that kind of like theatric behind it.
That one was good. If they do something like
But
that, that's good.
something like that. But again, I predicting this now. I feel like two people are gonna be up for elimination, and one of them is gonna have the chocolate bar, and someone else is gonna get saved when they need to start cutting these people off.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's time to I think they should just shock us all and do a double elimination.
And you
no
know, quiet
shade,
as
but I need to say, Georges, your time is up.
I was
Love you,
gonna say,
girl,
quiet
but
as it's
it's time for you to go. But,
quiet as it's kept though, it's an all lip sync thing though. So it's like I highly doubt either Georges or Jasmine's gonna go home this week because they're both the
Yeah, you're
dancers
probably
of the
right.
group.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, they're basically the lip sync assassins.
And not for
So
Not you,
nothing.
Miss Deja.
Not for nothing about Georges. I don't want to play favoritism, but I feel like Georges brings a lot of the personality. You just like every time she shows on the screen, I'm like, ah. And I will say this: as beautiful as Georges is, as beautiful as she is when she comes in the runway, but I want to know if they gave her a separate itinerary. Did they say, hey, this is the look you should be going for? Because to me, I feel like she's always missing the mark. I'm always like, girl, this is not what we asked you to do. She looks good. Don't get me wrong. She looks, oh my God, like the green thing or the Selena outfit, you know, the worshiping the marijuana too, like, or the Victoria's Secret wings, beautiful. Oh my, I'm like, yo, this bitch is beautiful. But I'm like, but this wasn't the assignment, darling. This was
Yeah, she
really
definitely serves a
nothing.
look. She definitely serves a look, but they're looking for more than just that. Like whenever it
Yeah,
comes to the personality challenges or the acting challenges, which is a requirement,
yeah.
she
But don't
doesn't
forget,
excel in those departments. But if
she
a
doesn't
lip sync is
excel,
going
but
to
she
save you,
shows it. But she does show it, and that's the thing we have to remember because a lot of these other people are trying to be perfectionists. At least with Georges, she shows even when she's given up, you can see in her like, oh damn, I fucked. Like she, there's something human about her, and I think that's what
yeah,
Rue loves because she also mentioned it. She mentioned it in this episode where she's like, Georges, I'm always telling you, I can tell when you're about to give up, and that's one thing that I think the panel loves to see. Like, even if it's a negative thing, if you feel defeated, they love to see that as opposed to someone like the Jasmines or the Silkies of the world that's just like, I'm perfect and I didn't see it and I'm not going to show you nothing. It's just like, okay, robot, go over here. Go. You know, in Delusional, you always think you're always perfect, and that's not the case here.
I
You're
have a
failing.
question.
Yeah.
Who do y'all think has the chocolate bar?
For some reason, I feel like it's George's now. I
hmm
really do feel like George's has that chocolate bar.
I don't think
I'm
it'll
just
be
going to keep it
Jasmine
real.
because she's been in the bottom so many times. I
No.
think it's
Yeah.
but I
No.
mean, a lip sync will probably save her because she performs an ass
Either
off.
either
But I
George's or Willow should she not do well in the lip sync.
has
Should
Willow
she
lip
not do
synced?
well? No, but she's in the bottom in the next episode. There's no
Yeah.
way we're gonna lose
Yeah,
Willow.
I think
There's no
if
way.
anything, they would say Willow because, like I said, like Willow to me seems like, but Snatch Game aside, she does seem like the clear shoe in for the winner. Like I told her, she's giving me Jinx Monsoon this season. Like
Yeah.
her personality, aesthetic, everything mimics that season where she was kind of like that underdog and they like weird and all that stuff. So kind of falls in that favor. Me, I cannot honestly see it for the other girl. Now I love Injuria, but I just don't see them trying to give it to her as the winner. I just don't see it. The way
They
that they
better.
trying to produce this show,
Yeah.
it just feels like they trying to have Willow be the showing. I mean, I could be wrong, but the way that they make it so obvious with the way they produce this damn show. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with this 7 girls in the bottom because that's gonna be a hot ass mess. But I'm here for it. Now, before we get to this final topic, congratulations to the one and only, or should I say, congratulations to the one and only Nicky Doll, who has been chosen to be the host of RuPaul's Drag Race France, which I saw the dragation online. People talking about she came in like, I don't know what place she came in. I know she was like, she got eliminated quite early, but during her season, but they chose her to host. Clearly, she's a drag queen that speaks French and looks good. She brought the fashions during her season, and she's a pretty girl. So, and they said that she will join presenter Daphne Berkey and musician Kitty Smile. I think that's how you say his name. who are going to be sitting on the judges panel alongside Nicky. Now, the trio will judge the first set of queens yet to be announced who will compete for the Drag Race France crown. Here's what she said. She says, I'm honored and thrilled to be the mistress of ceremonies of this emblematic show, which is going to revolutionize French drag and give prominence to incredible queer artists. And this is what Nicky said in a statement. Now, I'm so mad because, I had to sit on this tea before it was announced, and I couldn't say nothing. But then I'm seeing all the blogs writing about it. I'm like, well, damn. And this
It
came from
doesn't.
Nicki's mouth herself. But what do y'all think about
No,
Drag Race France?
Lindsay made a good point to me fairly recently when we were talking about it when the news broke, and it was like this is also the same person, regardless of the fact that she went home like third in her season. Um,
Oh, you remember? I should know
I,
her to ask you.
I know. If we're not counting Sherry, she probably went home like third. But it makes sense that she's going to be the host because yes, she's a pretty girl. Yes, she speaks French. But this is also the same queen that when her season was about to premiere, not even aired yet, RuPaul had her do Pete Davidson's makeup on Saturday Night Live to do X, Y, and Z, their skits and whatnot.
Yep.
So in my mind, that puts her on a certain pedestal in RuPaul's head.
Yep.
And when that call would come for a French drag queen who could host,
Yeah.
I could see it being like, okay, well, let's do her.
Yeah,
She's already established.
And Brooklyn did a little something for Rue. I forgot what it was that she did, but she was doing something behind the scenes for her. And, look at her in the Canada thing. And then Raven, does her makeup and she has her own
she has
solo
her own
show. Yeah, and I'm glad Remy brought that up because I really have a strong, not that it's a bad thing, but yeah, it just makes sense that Rue would give it to her. Like, you working for her and you're available and you're showing your skill. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's a benefit. Like, that's like if one of us had our own show or whatever, like, okay, let's lend me my time with you. You're gonna get the first pickings before anybody else. So it makes total sense for her to have gotten it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with her getting it. So I don't understand why people are sitting up here and saying, oh, well, she didn't even come in the top 10 or whatever of her season. Why did she get? I'm like, because, she's well-known drag queen. And we just said that you don't have to win the show to get opportunities. So if somebody is has a background in drag and has competed on Drag Race, and yeah, she may have came in 13th, she may have come in 12th, she may have come in 8th. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, y'all know who Nicky Doll is. Bruce saw something in her where she has a level of expertise. I'm sure she's had to learn how, read a teleprompter, the ins and outs of how to work a reality show and host and all the other stuff. I'm sure they gave her a crash course, and she's gonna get up in there and do what needs to be done. So stop hating, because y'all gonna be watching on Wild
Congrats,
Plus whenever it
Nikki.
airs.
Congrats. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Congrats.
Which is what she gonna be saying.
You two can place 11th on a reality TV show and become the star.
Okay.
That gives hope for a lot of y'all in the bottom. Some of you, pork chops of the season, y'all got a chance.
Okay.
So, oh my God, we forgot to bring up the whole Jocelyn situation with that whole because y'all gonna be watching that show, The Bad Boys of LA.
I might. I just want to see the fights.
Yeah, I am because I think it looks intense in terms of like the fights. I'm already paying for Zeus because I watched Jocelyn and Momo Chance and all that. If we're gonna get to it and everything that happens that's circling around Jocelyn is true and her show gets canceled, I don't know. I might have to cancel my Zeus account because that's really the only thing that's drawing me to watch it. But we shall see.
Yeah, because I saw Sailor Mermaid wrote Zeus needs to be canceled, especially with the whole Jocelyn and Ballistic fiasco with Amber. Yeah, so Jocelyn's out here is a hot ass mess, out here fighting people on her show, and that's basically what the show is. And quiet as it's kept, I heard from through the grapevine, shout out to Funky Daniva, who revealed that there really is no cabaret. That he went to see Jocelyn Cabaret, and all there was Jocelyn singing her horrible ass songs, and had girls from the show not even in unison with the choreography. Like they were just freestyling, dancing.
That's what happens.
So this ain't even a real show, but Nally need money. She giving y'all opportunities to make y'all little shows or whatever on the Zeus network and produce. There's y'all got Jocelyn Cabaret, but there's no real cabaret. So y'all basically just doing shit for the sake of Jocelyn being a mess.
I mean, Linnell Ben said it.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, so. Linnell Ben said it. So I mean, I'm not surprised. There's no other than that, other than the show, we don't see no promotions for this quote unquote cabaret show.
Well,
So
she was touring, but I don't know how that stands now, considering. And by touring, I don't mean like no major city tour. I mean like a little four gigs in a couple of different states. But
got it.
she was touring, and being
All
that
at
now
like
these
a $3 tavern type of place. Got
it,
it.
it could have very well been that. Um, who knows where it stands now? Now that these things happened on at her reunion.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not like RuPaul where they have, their Vegas residency. Like she ain't in Vegas
Right.
where your show is giving that. But anyway, back to our final. Well, let's get to our final topic. So, Bianca Del Rio, the winner of season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race, has enjoyed one of the most high-profile and successful careers of any of the show's winners. Now, she has embarked on several successful tours, including dates for London's huge Wembley Arena. I think she's on tour right now.
Hmm.
Appeared in the stage musical Everybody's Talking About Jamie, and I forgot the name of her actual show that she has going on now because I did
Sanitized.
see.
Something sanitized.
Unsanitized, I think.
Unsanitized.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw that she was posting stuff on that, and I actually like the picture where she's compared to what was it, Elma and the outfit. She posted that earlier today. But anyway, so in 2019, New York Magazine ranked her in the number 1 position in a list of the 100 most powerful Drag Race contestants. Now she's now speaking out on why she believes she's so successful and why other queens haven't done so well. In an interview with Pink News, she said the fact that she already had a background as a hardworking drag queen prepared her for her success on Drag Race. She also suggested her skills as a stand-up comedian gave her an advantage. Asked about what changes she had seen on the drag scene in recent years, she said some new people are entering the scene with certain delusions. Now, here's what she said. She says, I think one of the biggest changes is the level of delusion. There's just such a large amount of delusion and there's no substance. I think the lack of talent is something that's quite relevant and kind of annoying. You might look great in an Instagram photo, but give me something else. Not to say that
Hmm.
looking good in Instagram photo is not work. It obviously is. But having a platform is about doing something entertaining. She says back in the day, we'd work in gay bars and cabaret spaces, and you had to have an act. You had to do
Hmm.
something. So now I think everybody wants to go on Drag Race and assumes that they're going to have fame and they're going to travel the world. That might happen, but there's a huge amount of oversaturation.
Hmm.
She also says her age played a role in it too, because when she did Drag Race, she was 38. So and she's like what, but probably in her mid to late 40s right now. So
Hmm.
do y'all agree with Bianca in regards of
Well,
her saying that
yeah. One
I
thousand
do.
percent. I remember in one of her interviews a year after winning Drag Race, or a year and a half, right before her film Hurricane Bianca was coming out. They were talking. She was talking about how long it took her just to make the movie, just to get the money. Just RuPaul's Drag Race, like her winning the $100,000 didn't just help the budget the film on its own. It helped some parts. She still had to work hard to make more money. And I remember her saying, "Listen, you have to get every gig possible. You know what I mean? You have to work really hard." And even as a winner, I remember her saying that she flew one time to like Nebraska or something, and she only got paid $100 for the night. And mind you, she was the season 6 winner at the time,
Mhm.
touring. And she went and did it because she said, "Listen, if I go there and I accept this $100, I can get there in the future. So once my being the reigning queen runs out, I can go there, get more money because I participated when I was getting almost nothing." And a lot of the queens over the years, not mentioning any names, they don't show up for gigs. Like I know recently, top 5 queens don't even go to like places like the Ritz anymore. You know what I mean? They want something that has like the big stage in the hall and somewhere where you have to pay entrance to get in. They're not doing shows, and that sucks because someone like me who doesn't always have every fun to see every queen, if you're not going to show up at the Ritz, I'm not seeing you, and you're going to miss out on those bookings opportunity. I'm a big believer in you got to work hard and you got to meet all your gigs, and aside of you getting sick or whatever, but you have to do it. This is the life you're choosing, and people like her, Alaska, you know what I mean, Trixie, like Katya, going on tour, like they're doing it, but they're also doing a lot of little shows that no one else wants to pick up, and you can't forget your roots. And that's the same for like people like like us, for example, you know, we want to be bloggers, we want to have shows, we want to do things, but we have to commit to it, you know, whether it's doing our own shows, whether it's doing IG shows, just YouTube shows once a week. Listen, we're all doing side projects to hustle to get to where we're trying to be at. You can't just get from point A to point Z. Some people get lucky and miss out on opportunities because you don't want to put in the work. A lot of these queens think because you're getting 3,000 likes for a flawless picture is going to get you somewhere, and it's not. Especially if you have no talent other than just looking pretty and using a filter. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what you want, any person with makeup, especially if it's dry or patched, myself, I like my look today, but as soon as I'm done, I will add a filter to this mug just to enhance what it is I'm showing. So you got to get more than that.
And also, Drag Race isn't just a place where you have to look pretty to win. Like, you have to sing, you have to dance, you have to act, you have to improv. Like, there's so many other factors where it comes to being successful on this show specifically that a lot of people, they're just like, oh, well, I made the cast, so you know what it is, what it is. But there's still people who come on the show 14 US seasons and however many franchises later and still don't know how to sew, who still never took a single
I never
improv
get
class,
that. I never understand that, and y'all
who
should
never
know better.
they've never taken a single improv class before coming here. Take one improv class. That'll probably help you with when it comes to improving these acting challenges. Like,
Absolutely.
you don't gotta be a singer, but like, know how to get by.
Take a vocal lesson or
No,
two,
I
just so you
love
can
it.
know to
Right.
carry a
Yeah.
tune.
Or be really good at two particular things. Like me, I am not a sewer. So I'm not and I know in order to be at the caliber I want to be at, you need to at least defend yourself to sew. But guess what? I feel like I will never get to it. But with that being said, where I lack, I'm gonna make up somewhere else. So whether I have to be funnier, whether I have to be more or pick up more talents to do a skit is what you have to do. And I'm glad that Remy mentioned that part because that's where you forget. You forget your talents, everything that needs to be put instead of just putting lashes in a wig. There's a lot more that has to be put together to get this package. And I'm glad that Bianca said it. She's always said this. Like this
Mhm.
interview came up recently. And it's so funny because whenever they question her over the years about something similar to this, she always says the same thing over and over and over.
It's like
And they
these.
can't say, and they can't come for her and be like, "Oh, you're a hater." This and that. It's like, hello. Look at where she is. Look at her. Like she's selling out stadiums. She's selling out
Mm-hmm.
shows. She's constantly doing. She's constantly booked and busy. Like I remember, like I told you. Well, I told you all the story. Like when she was in the circus and they had the Halloween thing, and Brandon Boss had put the event together, and Violet Chachki and all them performed, and Bianca was the MC, and she had the house in stitches. Even people who were like the straightest of straight people in there were hollering at her jokes. So
Mm-hmm.
Bianca knows of what she speaks, and if people are gonna come out here and be a hater, oh, you're just like, okay, if that's you just gonna gloss over with that, you know she's right. So she's put
Mm-hmm.
in the work. She's been doing drag for a long time. I remember back in the day she used to do Deg Nordicio parties. So Bianca's been around for a minute. When I first heard she was on the show, I was excited because like, oh yeah, it's another queen I know.
Mm-hmm.
But for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, I feel like she's absolutely right. It's like you have to put in the work. A lot of these, a lot of what Ruin, I guess maybe it's VH1. They want to put a lot of these look queens on and don't want to have anybody on here with real substance. Or a lot of these girls need to realize like, you know what, be smart and do that. Even when you've been on the show or you've won, do that $100 show or that 300. Do those low ball shows, and then when you get higher up, then you can start commanding. Don't automatically out the gate. I don't do nothing less than 20 grand and it's the other. Nobody's gonna call you. Like
Mm-hmm.
once that period is done, and we already said that the show is oversaturated as it is, so they're gonna forget about you in like 3 months because the next show is gonna come along and they'll hire the next girl that's gonna be able to take a lower number. So you got to be smart. It's always look at the bigger picture. Try to have that longevity so that when your career lasts as long as a Bianca Del Rio or there's a handful the Barbara drag queens, the
Yes,
Shangelas,
Alaska,
exactly the
Trixie.
Alaskas, Trixie Mattel, like how successful they are because they were smart and strategic on how they're going to
Mm-hmm.
keep their careers
And
going.
these Instagram girls and these YouTube girls and stuff who are known for being famous on social media, they're usually the ones to go home first, like, or fairly
Yeah.
early. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you got, just to name a few, you got like Juicy Couture and Drag Race Holland, you got Kine in Canada, you got like Dahlia, and here you have like um Who else
The one
was
from Jersey who was really pretty. I forget her all the
Ariel
time.
Versace went home.
Ariel
Ariel
Versace.
Versace went home
Now
early.
she
Like,
doing porn.
well, that's neither here nor there. Like
On
Lindsay
OnlyFans.
said, we all have our side hustles to make our ends meet.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
But
No,
yeah,
I'm
like
glad you brought that up. Yeah.
these girls, they're fabulous in a picture, but sometimes you got to be the first, second, or third out.
Mm-hmm. You can't be singing the same Kim Petra songs every night for 3 years. That's your talent. That's not.
But the good thing is Bianca has that talent of, the gift of gab and comedy to fall back on. So she don't need to rely on,
Yeah.
lip syncing and doing dips and spins and all that mess. We love it though, but step y'all pussies up, basically is the moral of the story. If y'all want to last long in this business called drag. But anyway, on that note, we are done with this episode of Drinks to Drag, this long-winded episode, because technical difficulties aside, we made it through. Made it through the wilderness and how we made it through. So once again, thank you all for tuning into this episode. Tune in next week when we air our season finale of Drag. Oh, Drinks to Drag. I almost said drag. I don't know when they end, and they probably ain't gonna end until June. They're gonna be done by the time New York City Pride. That's when the last episode was.
No, they're gonna finish right before the all winter season airs.
Oh
So
my
like
goodness.
probably
I
that week
can't.
right before.
I can't.
Yeah, so make sure y'all tune in next week for that good old season finale. Once again, I'm Chris Avalon and my fellow companions and co-hosts, Remy and Lindsay Aguilera. Until next time, ciao.
Bye. Thank you for watching.
Coochie, coochie.
What are those?
Yes, what are the